House Nu Abti Ikiakalas. Hello, I'm called Ab. Happy Friday and welcome to the Isla live stream. Okay, so I'm going to change the background music. So as I said, it's the start of a new year, or at least the calendar year. A lot of people might not be aware that the Isla New Year actually starts in springtime when salmon berries and wild rice start blooming. That's actually the Isla New Year, but according to the calendar, we've started a new calendar year. So this is the first live stream of 2024. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I had something that I wanted to share with you, and I'm going to open up my Word document here, and I'll just get right into it. So I wanted to explain a little bit about what I say when I introduce this show. So what you'll hear first is yout. Yout. Notice I'm placing special emphasis on this last sound. So this C is like a TS, a T and an S together, like bits, kits, fits in English. But this apostrophe on top of it makes it what we call an ejective sound. So it's t. Yout. Yout. You'll also notice that I'm using the accent, the Isla accent. So I'm not just saying yout. I'm saying yout. So I'm drawing it out a little bit. I'm starting at a lower tone. And then when I get to the second part of the word, I'm using a higher tone. So it's yout. Yout. And that, of course, means hello. You'll hear me say my name in different ways. I tend to say Nu Abti a lot, and that means I'm called Ab. There's different ways you can say this. I could say Ab. Whoops. And I just realized I don't have my keyboard activated. So just as an aside, I had some technical issues before I started the show, but that's pretty much par for the course. When do I not have technical issues when doing the live stream? I mean, I was using my laptop all day. It worked perfectly, no problems whatsoever. As soon as I started getting ready for the live stream, that's when the technical problems started happening. So that was not fun, and that's why the live stream started later today. But yeah, I was basically sorting out those technical issues. But I could also say Ab Tlanugwa. This would actually be one word. Technically, it would all be one word. It would all be unbroken. But to provide a little bit of more legibility, I sometimes break them up. I could break them up that way, or like this. In this case, I'm adding an acute accent to this U to show that emphasis is being placed on nu. Nugwa. Ab Tlanugwa. So this is another way of saying I'm called Ab. Ab Tlanugwa. I could also say kilusu. Nugwa. And this would mean something more like I am to be called Ab. So this kilusu means to be called. I believe that's what that means. And then nugwa means I. So if I'm going to separate it into a separate word, I have to show emphasis. So there's 3 different ways that you could hear me introduce myself at the start of the live streams. You could hear me say, Nuh Abti, Nuh Abti, or you could hear me say, Ab Tlanugwa, Ab Tlanugwa, or you could hear me say, Ab Kilusunugwa, Ab Kilusunugwa. So if you've watched the live streams regularly, you will notice that I alternate between these. So this week I said Nuh Abti. Next time I do my live stream, I might use one of these ones. Either Ab Tlanugwa or Ab Kilusunugwa. So if you hear me switch it up, that's basically why. I'm just choosing different ways of telling you what I'm called. So they're essentially the same. Whichever way you choose to introduce yourself is up to you. As I've mentioned, I tend to use this one more often than not. And that's just my own personal preference. And I wanted to talk a little bit about days of the month and days of the week and things like that. So this is what I'm going to be doing with the live streams from now on, is I'm going to talk about like what day it is, what month it is, and things like that. So I start off by saying Aluth Asangho. Aluth Asangho. This means it is a new year. Because as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it's 2024 now. So we're no longer in 2023, so it is a new year. I want to explain a little bit about how this phrase actually works. So I'm gonna separate these a little bit, and I'm going to talk more about what's happening here. So, Aluth means new. This C is actually an S. And the S is actually short for haste. Haste means by, of, or about. So you could actually say Aluth haste asang, Aluth, or Aluth haste asangho. But I tend not to do that. The way that I combine words is through suffixes. So this S is short for haste, but there's a problem here because we can't add this S to the end of this word because the word ends with this symbol, which is called a tilde L. So you don't normally see an S after a tilde L. So instead of adding the S, we actually turn it into a C. So the C still means the same thing. It means by, of, or about. And we add that to Aluth. So now we have Aluth. Aluth. Which basically means it is new. Aluth means new. Luths means it is new. Asanch means year. This U is actually short for, let's see here. It's a suffix, and it means, well, the full suffix is this, ho. So there's different ways you can use this. So oftentimes, instead of adding ho or aho, oftentimes it'll be reduced to this single letter, to U. So this U is short for ho, and instead of adding ho to asanch, you can see we've got one tilde or one barred X at the end and then another barred X at the beginning. So asanch ends with a barred X, ho starts with a barred X. So that's another reason for removing the X bar. Now we have the letter U. And when we add it to asanch, we have asanch ho. And again, this kind of means like it. It can also refer to location. So if you imagine you're talking to someone, this U would basically mean it's close to you, the person that I'm speaking to. Or it can also be interpreted as meaning like it's happening now. So there's a few different meanings to all of this. But when you put everything together, you get aluths, asanch ho. Aluths, asanch ho. All of that together means it is a new year. Next we have sakya punsu. Sakya punsu. Again, we see this suffix U. So sakya puns. Actually, we can break this down even further. So let's put a hyphen in front of this part. So let's start at the beginning. So sakya means 5. When you add this, you get sakyo. Sakyo, which means 5. So this is actually made up of a sakya and then this U and this rounded X suffix. But that's the number by itself. Sakya is a root word. It's a part of a word. It doesn't really stand on its own. It has to have something added to it. So what we're adding is puns. Puns is a counter, and it refers to the day of the week. Sakya, 5, puns, day of the week. And this U basically means something like it, or it is. So when we put them all together, we get sakya punsu. Sakya punsu. That means it is Friday, or it is the 5th day of the week. Next is le stilsu. Le stilsu. Le stilsu. Again, we're adding this suffix. We have this U that we're adding, which kind of means like it is. So le stils means January. Le stilsu. Le stolsu means it is January. It is currently January. And le stils means it has to do with the sun. So if you're in Kitimat village and you're looking west across to where Rio Tinto is. There's a mountain range just south of Rio Tinto. When you watch where the sun sets against that mountain range, that tells you what time of the year it is. So le stils means the sun has reached its zenith. So it starts at the south end of that mountain range. So it's starting its trip north. So that's what le stils means. And then le stilsu means it is January. Sekyo is the number 5. And in this context, it means it is the 5th day of the month. So it is January 5th. It is Friday, January 5th. That's what all that means. 2024, asanho. So again, we're saying asang, and then we're adding this u. Asanho. That means it is the year 2024. It is. And then this last one is tuwanho. And again, let's see if you can guess what's happening here. Tuwanh is winter. When we add this u, it becomes tuwanho. Tuwanho. That means it is winter. So this is the way I like to speak. Islak. If I just said aluths asang, that means a new year. So this is basically a description. So if you're engaged in a conversation with an elder and you just say aluths asangho or aluths asang, you would just be saying a new year. You wouldn't be saying anything about the new year. And that would probably be a question that would come up. If you just say aluths asang, you'd probably be asked, well, what about a new year? If you add a suffix to it, then it becomes, it is a new year. It's no longer just a description. Now you're adding context. Aluths asangho, it is a new year. If you just say sikyapens, that just means Friday. Well, what about Friday? If you add this u, then it becomes sikyapensu, it is Friday, today. If you just say le stils, that just means January. Well, what about January? If you add this u, then it becomes le stolsu, it is January. Now, sekyo just basically stays the same. It just means 5. And then 2024, asang. Again, we're adding the u to mean it is. So 2024, asangho means it is the year 2024. Tsuwanh means winter. Tsuwanho means it is winter. So by adding these suffixes, I'm taking these words and which are essentially descriptions, and I'm adding context. I'm adding more information so that the person that I'm speaking to has more to work with, has a better understanding of what I'm saying. So here at the bottom, I've typed suffixes provide context. This is a really good practice for speaking islak. When you know how words, like word structure works and how sentence structure works, it helps give you a better understanding of the language and how it works, because you're learning the mechanics of the language. So I'm going to switch back to my webcam here. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. One more thing that I wanted to talk about was I'm thinking of not doing the live cast on a weekly, or not doing the live stream on a weekly basis. I'm thinking of doing it either every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks. Right now I'm leaning more towards doing it monthly. And that's to help free up a little bit more time. So I'm very busy here. I have a lot of things to work on. I always have projects on the go. And as much as I enjoy doing these live streams, I really do like doing the live streams. It's a lot of fun. I get to kind of kick back a little bit and just talk about the language, which I always like to do. And to share information with everybody who's learning the language. I'm trying to make things a little bit easier by explaining how the language works. And honestly, I love doing that. It's something that I thoroughly enjoy doing. But doing it every week is a little bit much for me with the amount of work that I'm doing, the other projects that I'm working on. It kind of takes away a little bit from that. So I'm going to ease back on the live streams in terms of the number of live streams that I'm doing. So instead of doing them every week, I'm going to do them once a month. So hopefully you'll stay tuned if you're able to watch live. If not, once I'm finished doing the live stream, it will be available as a replay. So even if you missed it live, you can still watch the replay at any time. So that's it for this month's live stream. Until next time, remember, learning is its own reward. Exquiguelas. Wa.